Bodioni Mike here at the Game Creator, and we are back with another RPG series tutorial. Now, sorry I didn't get an episode out yesterday. Today is Tuesday. I said Monday and Fridays, but Monday was my day off, and I had a lot of stuff to do yesterday, so I just didn't get around to it. So here we are, we're back. First of all, what we want to do is go ahead and open up your project if you haven't already. And we got a few things that we want to do. Today we're going to be starting to work with weapons, and we're going to work with the staff today. We're going to start adding spells to the staff and be able to cast and access different variables and everything. But first, there's a couple things I want to do before we jump into it. Let's go to the mage. Let's go to all our characters, but we're going to go to the mage first. We're going to go to attributes. And there's going to be some status attributes that we want to get rid of. It's going to be the armor and the equipment. So let's go ahead and delete armor and equipment for now. We're not going to be dealing with any of that at the moment. I'm going a different route for the armor and equipment and everything, since there's built-in wearable features now. Let's go to the warrior, do the same thing. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. And ranger, same thing. Delete armor, delete equipment. Okay, then we're going to go up to the game tab, go to features, and we're going to make sure that the show advanced options for wearables is on. And make sure you're not using the built-in health script, not for this tutorial. And I think that's about it as far as getting set up. Okay, so now what we want to do, first of all, we need to set up the spells and the spell damage and everything, and we're going to set that all up in our staff. Okay, so what we need to do first is go down to our attributes of our staff. So click on staff, click on the top tab attributes, and then you want to go down to the attributes and hit add. First, we're going to call spells. We're going to call this one spells. Now this is going to hold a list of the spells that we currently have. So use this string drop down. You're going to go string list. There we go. And oops, let me open up mine. Make sure I'm on the right path. Okay, yep. Alright, so now we need to add some spells in. Okay, well, the spells starting off that we know. Let's go Fireball, as usual. It's a mage. Fireball. Wow. See if we can edit that. Fireball. Why? Oh, okay. My caps lock was on. I was wondering what was going on. Alright, so now we need to add another one. Let's call it Ice Orb. Ice Orb. And remember all your spelling, guys, because that's going to come in handy. You're going to have to remember how to spell these exactly. So whatever you put in here is going to be what you have to, you know, respell it as. Then we're going to add a bubble shield. This is going to give us added defense. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to add this one, but you don't have to add it in for a mage. You can add like a different character. And you could use it as a companion or whatever, but I kind of gave this mage like some slash necromancer type deal, so we're going to call this one summon. So he's going to be able to summon something. Alright, now that we got our spells set up, now we need to add another attribute, and we're going to call this one spell damage, because the spells that do damage we want to keep track of. So we're going to use that string drop down, and we're going to go down to string dictionary. Okay, and now we're going to add some values in. Alright, so first we got to add a key. So our first key is, why is this F giving me such a problem? It won't. What the hell? I can't shift F it. What the fuck is going on with that? Sorry about my language, but that kind of angers me because I just bought this keyboard. Alright, anyways, it's going to be fireball. So there's our fireball. Let's enter a value. I'm going to enter 5 as a value. Now we need to add another one. That's going to be our ice orb. Enter a value. I'm going to enter this 10 because once we set it up, it's not going to be in this episode, but when we set it up, that value 10 is going to take away from the attack speed, essentially, of the enemies, which we're going to be calling it initiative. So the initiative's, of course, going to act like the attack speed, and you know, it's going to take away from their initiative, so basically slowing them down. Alright, so let's add, let's call, we got ice orb, fireball, and let's add fire orb. Fire orb. You know, this is kind of bugging me. I don't know why I can't shift F. It's really weird. Never had that problem before. Alright, so there's that, and we're going to give this a value of 2. The only reason why we're giving it a value of 2 because it's not going to slow enemies down. It's going to give them 2 damage continuously. So that's why we're leaving it at a lower value. And so now that we got those down, Fire Orb is going to be a spell that we can learn from a book. So that's why it's not in our actual spell list. We'll be adding it to this list. Alright, so now that we have that, now what we need to do is go to our features of our staff, and we need to make it wearable if we haven't already. So make it wearable, and then come over here to wearable tab. We're going to make this wear layer 5, and we're going to add in a wear slot right hand. Now honestly, I'm not 100% sure what the wear slot does, but you know, I'm adding it in there. If I figure it out, then we'll do something with that. But for now, the wear layer is the main thing. I'm just adding the wear slot, like I said, in case I can figure out what's going on with that, then we'll be able to use that. Okay, so right now we need to make sure it's removable. We're going to go message to print when wearing. I'm going to say you equipped the staff. And then it's on the message to print when removing, and say you have unequipped the staff. Very simple, very easy, just to let you know that you equipped, unequipped, but in the inventory it's going to say worn. That's the only thing I don't like about this, but it does make it very handy, you know, because you can add, you know, your weapons, your armor, your everything, and you can add it on. I'm sure it's going to say wear or worn, but that's alright. We don't care about that. Now we want to scroll down, and we're going to go additional display verbs, and we're going to go under worn, and we're going to say cast. Alright, so now what we need to do is, after wearing, I'm going to set and run a script. We're going to set a variable. So add a new script, come down here to variables, hit set variable or attribute, and we're going to call this one game.pov.int. game.pov.int, and we're going to say +1. So we're going to add intelligence just for equipping this on our character. So we'll add a point of intelligence, and we're going to copy this, the set variable, we're going to copy it, and after removing, we got to run text. run script. We're going to paste this down, and we're going to go, instead of plussing, we're going to delete that and put a subtraction sign. So that way it'll take that intelligence back away if we're not moving it, or if we're not wearing it, moving it. Alright, so now that we have our spells and our spell damage and wearing it set up, we need to go into our object at the top of the staff. And there is one thing that I want to delete, and it's this use. So we need to delete this use thing because we're making our own custom casting function. I mean, you could leave the use on and then put this script down in it, but I like to keep all my functions separate, and I'm not a big fan of the use and use on and this and that. I'd rather just ask an if statement personally, because I've tried using that stuff before and it just gets a little overcomplicating for me. Alright, well, now that we got that, now we need to set up a function. Alright, so let's go ahead and add a new function. We're going to call this one spellcasting. Alright, spellcasting, this is where the magic's going to happen. So what we're going to do, we're going to say if object, use this expression drop down, and we're going to say if object attribute equals, there we go, attribute equals object we're using is the staff. So staff, and what attribute are we getting? The worn attribute. And we're going to say if it equals true. So if it is worn, we can cast this. So that means if the mage is holding the staff, we'll be able to cast this. If not, we won't be able to. Okay, so then what we need to do, we need to show a menu. And we're going to say choose a spell to cast. And we're going to say options from staff dot spells. So that list dictionary that we made, it's going to pull that up and it's going to give us a menu of the spells that our staff contains. So what we're going to do after that is that we need to set up a variable. So after choosing run script, we need to scroll down and we need to find set a variable or attribute, and we're going to call this one X. Tab over twice, result. Okay, so we're going to set the result that we choose to X. Okay, so whatever that said, if it becomes fireball, it's going to become X. Okay, X is going to become fireball. So now what we want to do, we want to print a message. We're going to change it to an expression, and we're going to say you cast. Go on the outside of the quotes, say plus, and we're just going to say X. Okay, that's as simple as that. I'm not using no periods after that. It's just going to say you cast whatever. So if you choose fireball, it's going to say you cast fireball. Alright, now we need to set up another variable. So I'm just going to copy this one, paste it, and I'm going to move this down. I'm going to call this one S. This variable S. Okay, now what do we want S to equal? Well, this is where it gets a little complicated. We need to type dictionary item, dictionary item, and make sure your spelling is correctly, and I am not spelling this correctly. This right here. Okay, and you got your capitals where they need to be, like this is a capital I for item. Alright, then we're going to go half bracket, or not a bracket, parenthesis. No, that's not a parenthesis. I don't know what it is. It should be above the 9, whatever that is. I think it's parenthesis. Yeah. Alright, so anyways, we're going to do that. We're going to enclose it, and we're going to say staff dot spell damage, comma, space, and we're going to use that X. And then we're going to close this. So using Shift 0. Alright, so now that we got this set up, now what we need to do is we need to ask an if statement. So add a new script. We're going to ask if. We're going to say if result X equals quotations in the middle, type fireball. This is bugging me. I don't know why it's doing that. Fireball. Okay, if X equals fireball, then we'll do something. We're going to add an else if. And I'm just going to copy this. Control C. Come down here. Paste it. Add else if. Paste it. Add else if. We want to do this for each spell that we have. So right now we got fireball, ice orb, fire orb, and summon, right? Yeah, so we should have 4. So this first one is going to be ice orb, or the second one, I'm sorry. So if X equals ice orb, and all I'm doing is double clicking on the word. And I'm just going to delete the ball part, space, orb, fire orb, and then on this one we're going to type summon. Summon. Alright, so for fireball, first what we're going to do is that we need to print the expression. Okay, so we want to see how much damage we're actually going to do first. So let's print an expression so we can see. These are more testing purposes only. So let's say staff damage, and then we're going to go on the outside of this. On the outside of the quotations, we're going to add plus sign, and we're going to call this one S. So it should pull this variable, okay, and it should give us our damage. Now I'm hoping this works like this because I have an NPC set up in mind, so we'll end up having to set that up. Actually, let's go ahead and set that up really fast. I don't have much time left. Let's go to the entrance floor. Let's add object. We'll call him dummy. Dummy. Just to test this stuff out. Let's go over to attributes. Let's add one attribute. Let's call it health. We're going to turn this into an integer, and I'm going to make it like 20. There we go. Alright, so now that we got our dummy set up, now we could actually do something inside the spell casting to the NPC. So what we'll do is that we'll set another variable, add a script, come down to set variable or attribute. What variable are we setting? We're setting the dummy dot health. Come over here, dummy dot health minus. This is where you got to call a specific script to do this, and I want to thank KV from the forums for helping me out with this because I could not figure it out for the life of me. Capital T O capital I N T to int half bracket. It's not a bracket though, it's the one above the 9. I can't think of what they're called. I can't for the life of me think of what it's called at the moment. We're going to call this one S, and then enclose that. So what it's going to do, it's going to take this variable that we set into dictionary item staff spell damage, and it's getting that result. You know, so if it's fireball, that X is going to be fireball, and it's going to make that into the S variable, and then we'll take that and we'll call that in here. Instead of having to call all this other stuff, we just call S. So it's going to subtract that, and then we need to print another message. We're going to change it to an expression, and we're going to say dummy has space, go on the outside, plus plus, go back on the inside, the middle, and then we're going to say dummy dot health, and go on the outside of the pluses again, quote, quote, in the middle, space, health left. Okay, so it should look like this, and in that way, when we cast this spell, it's going to take some health away from the dummy, and it's going to equal our staff damage for that specific spell. Okay, so since this is all set up here, all I'm going to do is hold shift, copy all these, hit copy, and I'm going to go down and paste it here, and I'm going to paste it here. Now the ice orb, like I said, it won't be doing damage, but this is just for testing purposes only. Alright, so with that set up, let me go ahead and we'll get this summoning done really quick also. Let's go to room. I'm going to add another object. I'm going to call it ghoul. Ghoul. There we go. I'm not going to do anything to the ghoul. Just going to set that up. And then back under our spell casting, we need to come to the summon script. You know what? Yeah, we'll do that one next time. Okay, if you got your ghoul set up, that's fine. We'll just do that next time. So spell casting. Okay, now we need a book. So we need to learn another. So as we go along, we'll learn more spells and whatnot. So we're going to go to our insurance floor. We're going to make a new object. We're going to call this one spellbook. Spellbook. I'm going to go down to the object setup. What are you? Inanimate object. Okay, good. Inventory. Sure, it can be taken. Verb. Yeah, let's just go ahead and make a new verb. We'll call it read. And we will run a script. And what we're going to run is that we're going to go down and find variables. Oh, nope. Not set a variable, sorry. I'm going to add a new script, come down to variables. And we want to add a value to a list. There we go. Now what list are we adding it to? We're adding it to the staff spells. So staff.spells. Okay. And now we want to an expression. So what expression is that? It's going to be fire orb. And remember, your spelling needs to be correct. Let me just make sure all this is the same. Spellbook. Sure. Yep. We don't need this to be an expression though, my bad. We want it to be a text. So fire orb. And it keeps doing that. Why is it doing that to me? Alright, so we want to add that to the list, and then we need to drop down this script again, add a new script. On object, we need to remove object, and we're going to call this an expression, and we're just going to say this. Because we can use this book multiple times, and we'll just end up changing this. It'll be a longer script, but this is just to show you how we add and remove spells. So let's go ahead and jump into it and see what we're working with right now. So we're going to be the mage. Yes. Name is whatever. Male. Yes. Set up intelligence. We'll go 6. Set up any more points? No. Okay, continue. So now that I have this, we can see dummy, we can see spellbook, and we got our staff on us right now, right? So what we can do is go to wear. So with it being worn, we see that we have equipped the staff, and now we only got a couple options. And this is what I was talking about in the inventory, how it says worn, and I'm not a big huge fan of that. So but it is what it is. And we can remove, take it off, and then we can't see cast anymore. And we go back to where, and now we can see cast. So if we hit cast, oh, I did not set it up. All right, stop game. My bad. Whoops. All right, come back in here to staff. We have to set this up. Go to staff, go to attributes, and then we need to find script. We need to find script. I know it's around here somewhere. Huh. Where did I set mine up at? I know I set it up. It was feature. Where did I do this at? Alright, give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. Check out what the fuck I did. I love you, honey. Come on. Okay, welcome back, guys. I forgot what we have to do. We have to actually set up the verb in under the game itself. Okay, so let's go to verbs. Let's go to add. Okay, we're gonna call it cast. Its text is cast. Its name is cast. And under the pattern, we're going to say cast, semicolon, cast lowercase, semicolon. Actually, I don't think that matters, honestly. So I'll just lowercase that, semicolon, and we'll go to spell, and then we'll just say cast spell. And you can add anything else that you might think someone might add in there. I'm going to copy this, Control C. I'm going to go to attributes of our verb, and we're going to go down to attributes, and we're going to find our script. There it is. See, for some reason I was thinking it was in the staff, and it's not. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom of our script here. If I could see. Oh, that's right. We need to go back up to the top, and we're going to click this Make Editable Copy. So now we can edit it. We can come all the way down, add a new script. What are we doing? We are scripts calling a function, and the function that we are calling is spell, capital C, casting. Spell casting. So it'll call that function there. So now with that, let's go ahead and make us a command to do the same thing. Add function, and the name, we're going to call this one casting, because you can't add cast because it'll conflict with the verb. Up here, I'm going to Control V. Okay, just like we did for that. Script, we're going to scroll down and find script, call function. And it's going to be the same one, spell casting. So when we hit the verb cast, it's going to run this, which does the same thing as typing cast, which we'll call this function. Alright, so let's try it now. Alright, let's go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Intelligence, strength, whatever, I don't care. 2. Alright, now we skip on. Now we're back in our room. Okay, now we see we got our staff. We can wear it. Now with it worn, now we can cast. And we cannot cast. This dot property. What is going on now? Okay, that didn't work. So script, spell casting. Is that how we spelt it? Spell casting. Yeah, that's how we spelt it. Okay. Alright, over here on the set variable under our spellcasting function, let's go to that spellcasting function under the expression. Right here where we're setting s our variable, we're going to delete this x and we're going to just say result. And I'm hoping that should help us out. It's so weird. Let's see, we set the variable. We set the spell damage. Alright, I'm going to run this again. See what we run into. Okay, go to staff. Actually, first, let me go to cast here. Cast, nothing happens. Go to where. Cast, no? What? Cast. What is going on here? That's weird. My casting verb isn't working, but when I do my function cast, it works. Okay. Well, everything else is working besides my cast verb, so I will go in and I will check out and see what's wrong with that, but let's just check this out right quick because I got to get going. Cast, enter. Now you can see we have fireball, ice orb, bubble shield, and summon. We know these two are the only ones that have any kind of values right now, so as you've seen earlier, we click fireball. 20 off the dummy, that gave us 15, or 5 off the dummy, that gave us 15. So let's click fireball again. Now he only has 10 health. Okay, so if we type in cast again and we hit 2 for ice orb, now you can see he has 0 health left. Alright, so now we can go to the spell book and we can go to read, and now we say cast. And now you can see that we have a 5th one down here called Fire Orb. Now if we hit Fire Orb, now you can see he has -2 health left because we just took off 2 from 0. So all that seems to be working well. I don't know what's going on with this thing here. I'm going to quit out, go to wearables. Nothing there. Cast.
Okay, what's going on, guys? Now, I meant to release this video this morning, but I just ran out of time. I had to get ready to work, and I just got off. I got home. I'm undressed, not like undressed. I'm out of my work clothes. Okay, I'm dressed. But anyways, I came in, I sat down, and I tried to figure out this problem, and I figured it out. I just needed a few extra minutes, and I didn't have it this morning. So I'm sorry, or this video would have been released earlier. But I did figure out the problem that we were having. So what we need to do is that we need to go into our cast verb, and we need to go to the attributes tab of the cast verb, and we got to add two attributes. Now, I did not have to do this on my game, and this is why it confused me, but when I saw the error and it was talking about property, I was like, what is it talking about? So I went through my other one and I checked it out, and there's a couple attributes in there that are missing that I added, and it worked, and I didn't have a problem. So now if we go into the game right now and we try it, I'm just skipping all this pretty much, and there we go. Now if we pick up the staff, we wear it, and we try to cast, we're going to get an error. Okay, and this is what I couldn't figure out until I read this. And it's this dot property, and I was like, well, wait a second, let me see what's going on with that attribute. Well, if you check, there's no attribute property here, so we need a couple attributes over here. One is property, and we're going to leave that a string. We're going to leave it blank, and then we're going to add another one, and we're going to call it default expression. Default expression, okay? And this one also is going to stay as a string, and it's going to be blank, okay? Now watch, we save this, we go back in, and then we mage, and do all this stuff, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, now we're back, we take our staff, we wear it, and now we go to cast, and pow! It worked. So that's awesome. That's really awesome. And then we pick what we want to do. Fireball, bam, and we cast again. Ice orb, haha, ice orb. So, anyways, that's how we fixed that. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get this video out earlier, but I do hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative. When I come back, we will be continuing on with more of the spells. I want to touch up on the summoning. You know what? Since we had some problems earlier, let's go ahead and do the summoning really quick. The summoning is pretty easy, and it will only take a minute. Let's go to our ghoul. Okay, so open up your ghoul that we made earlier. And we are going to, actually, let's make another room really quick, and I'm going to call this followers. I did get this from the Pixie off of the, and then that's doing that again. I'm going to get angry if I can't figure out why I can't hold shift and hit. And to let you know, to capitalize that F, I had to hit caps lock and then push it. This is, I don't know what's going on here, but it's aggravating me a lot because I just spent 50 bucks on this keyboard. All right, sorry about that. Anyways, we make another room. We're going to call it followers. We're going to take the ghoul and we're going to set it down here in the followers so we don't see him in the room with the player when we first start up anymore. All right, now we go back to our ghoul. We're going to open attributes. Okay, and then there's going to be a couple attributes that we want to add. So what do we want to add? Actually, we're only going to add one for now, and it's going to be called follow phrases. Follow phrases. There we go. And we hit enter. And we are going to make this a string list. String list, and we're going to add. And we're going to say the ghoul follows closely behind. And we're going to add another one. We're going to say the ghoul snorts as he follows through, or as he follows. We'll just leave it like that, as he follows. And then we'll add one more. Let's say here. While following, the ghoul checks his surroundings. All right. Now, these sentences that we just made right here in this string list is what's going to pop up when he follows us into another room. So after we use summon from the staff, it will summon the ghoul, and then he will follow us like a companion. Okay. Or if you want to make a necromancer and give him some kind of summoning, you can make skulls, skeletons, or whatever, and you can have him summon skeletons, and then you can add these little phrases here, to add a little tidbit to your game, just it's there. Anyways, now what we want to do, we need to go to let me look right quick. Let me find this. Oh, we need to go back to our spell casting. That's right. Because that's where it's going to happen. So we go to spell casting, and we go to our summon. Okay. And what we need to do is that we need to make a new variable. So we're going to add a new script under else if summon. And we're going to go down and we're going to set a variable or attribute, and we're going to call this mage dot followers. Okay, and this is going to equal a new object list, and then we need to add to that list. So add a new script, come down, and we need to add value to list. There we go. Now, what list are we adding to? We're going to be adding to this. So I'm going to highlight it, Control Copy, Control C. Click in here, Control V to paste it. And it is going to be an expression, and we're going to call it ghoul. And then we're going to move object. It's going to be, here, let's do this first. Object is going to be the ghoul. So let's find the ghoul. There we go. Expression to game.pov.parent. Okay, so that will summon him up, but that does not make him follow. Now, to make him follow, what we need to do is that we are going to have to go into, there it is. We are going to have to go into our game, scripts, and script when entering a new room. Alright, so we need to add a new script, and we're going to ask an if, and we're going to say if object has attribute, object is game.pov, attribute is name followers, and then we're going to call another script after then. So if he does, oh wait, it didn't type that followers. There we go. Okay, then after we ask this if, we're going to make a for each loop. So come down, you want to scroll down to scripts and find for each. And then we're going to just make a random variable O, and we're going to say expression game dot pov dot followers, and we're going to say run script, and the script we're going to say if object has attribute, again object is O, it's the variable that we set up here because it's going to ask for each followers, and we're going to call this follow phrases. Okay, so this way for each follower that we have, so if you have more than one follower, it's going to print out each of the follower phrases that you have every time you go into a new room. So now we need to print an expression, so go to print message, change this to an expression, and we're just going to erase this. Okay, and now what we need to type is string, capital list, capital item, parenthesis, not parenthesis. What is the name of that? Is it parenthesis? Yeah, it's a parenthesis. See, I was getting all messed up earlier. Okay, parenthesis, and we're going to say O dot follow phrases. And, oh, hold on a second. I can't. Oh, it's a comma. Okay, sorry. Comma, get random int parenthesis. We're going to say 0, comma, space list, count, parenthesis, O dot follow phrases, close the parenthesis, space, -1, parenthesis, parenthesis, and then we need to close our parentheses, okay? So, what this is going to do, it is going to get a string list from the item of follow phrases. The item is going to be our object that we set up here for each loop variable, which is our game.followers. So the followers that we create, which right now is just the ghoul. So it pulls that up. It gets a random. It gets random one from the list. Okay. It's gonna take that, and the -1. That's just to ensure that it picks one every time. Because if we weren't to add this, if we didn't add this -1, you could get blanks. So now we're gonna say else. Add a script, print message. We're going to make that message an expression. Okay. So we're going to say cap first, parenthesis, get display name, parenthesis, O, close parenthesis, space, plus, quote, is following you, period, quote. Okay, and then we need to, underneath the bottom of our if statement here, we need to add a new script. So click add a new script there. So that one. And then we're going to scroll down and we're going to set variable or attribute. And we're going to say o.parent tab equals game.pov.parent. Okay. Now, this will run every time we have the ghoul summoned. It's going to follow us. So let's make sure we have another room that we can go into. So let's just make another room really quick, and let's just call it test room. There. That's fine. And we're going to go to test room. I'm going to go to exits. I'm going to make one for the north. And we're going to make it from the entrance floor, because that's the floor that we actually start off in. I'm going to create an exit and create an exit the other way. And then I'm going to play the game. And we're going to see if everything's okay. So 1, I want to be a mage. Yes. Name is going to be blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. Intelligence, 6. No more points. Okay, so staff. I'm going to wear the staff. And then cast. And then I want to summon.
So we found the problem. We know what's wrong. So let's go ahead and go fix this. All right. First, we need to go down to our spellcasting function. And this is where it's throwing up our error. It's throwing up this error for this variable, the dictionary item staff damage, spell damage result. It's having a problem with that because we don't have anything set up as far as damage or anything goes for the summoning. Well, we're summoning. We don't cause damage just from summoning a creature or anything like that. So what we need to do is that we need to go ahead, highlight this, highlight result in it, and type X. Okay? Because we're going to grab this variable and we're going to set it. And then we're going to take it, I'm going to take this set variable cut, we're going to cut it out of there, going to highlight print and paste, and then go up. So we're going to do this to all of them that actually have damage. So I'm going to go down to Ice Orb, do that there, go down to Fire Orb, paste that there. There we go. And now we should be able to go in and we should have everything working correctly. I'm just flying through this part. Alright, so now we got staff. So let's wear it. That, we can cast. There's cast, fireball. You cast fireball, staff damage 5, dummy has 15 health left. Okay, and we go to cast, and we can go to summon. And now you can see in our room is the ghoul. So watch when we move. We move, the ghoul follows closely behind. We move again. The ghoul snorts as he follows. So there we go. Now all that works. So next time when we come in, what we will do, we will continue working with the staff. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else with it at the moment, but I know we need to start the bow and the sword so we can start equipping them and everything else. I'm sorry this episode took so long to get out. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope it was informative. And until next time, guys, later.